PhilHealth, your partner in corruption. Ito na nga daw ang panibagong tagline ngayon ng health insurance na PhilHealth matapos nga isiwalat ng former director nito na si Director Pamonag ang isa sa pinakasalari ng korupsyon na walang iba kundi si Dr. Mark Dennis Manguita na talagang tukoy na ng mga kongresista. Buong tapang nananindigan at isiniwalat mismo sa kongreso ng former regional director ng PhilHealth na si Dr. Miriam Grace G. Pamonag na walang iba kundi si Dr. Mark Dennis Manguita ang isa sa salarin ng bilyong pisong nawawalang pondo sa PhilHealth. Idinitalye at hinimay-himay nga ng nasabing former director ang korupsyon sa PhilHealth at kinasangkutan nga ito ng tila guilty na maituturing na si Dr. Manguita. Pakinggan ang full hearing kanina na talaga namang umani ng samot-sanang reaksyon sa social media.
So, go ahead, Congressman Kabatbat.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. May I know if online na o present na si Agent Vernon? Kung hindi, baka we can go to former Director Pamonag muna. Kung wala si Agent Vernon, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, kung wala si Agent Vernon, can we proceed to Director Pamonag muna, Mr. Chair?
Okay, Director Pamonag, no? Sorry, Director Pamonag, ito yung natanggal na regional director kung saan nandun yung case ni Dr. Manguita at yung case na i-final nyo. Director Pamonag, is recognized?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, magandang umaga po. Go ahead.
Magandang umaga po and thank you.
Mr. Chair, can I proceed? No? Director Pamonag, are you familiar with Dr. Mark Dennis Manguita?
I haven't met Dr. Manguita not even once. I am just familiar about some complaints filed against him.
Okay, from what I have gathered, Mr. Chair, si Director Pamonag ay natanggal sa Region 12. Pwede niyo po ba ikwento bakit kayo natanggal?
Thank you, Your Honor. And may I be allowed to present my case? This will not take 2 to 3 minutes, Your Honor. Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I am Miriam Grace G. Pamonag, the previous RVP of Regional PhilHealth Region Office 12 from December 9, 2014 and until March 5, 2019. I have been a crusader for anti-fraud activities, consistently advocate for policy reforms, and I haven't been involved in any corrupt practices in the past. Not until in March 26, 2018, when an administrative case was filed against me and my 3 officers and Attorney Gelbert Galicto of PhilHealth Regional Office, Caraga. I was charged with grave misconduct and conduct prejudicial to the best interest of the service for merely writing a letter requesting for the release of the 2016 Christmas Assistance Package to Pro 12 regular employees. Attorney Galicto was also charged with gross neglect of duty and conduct grossly prejudicial to the service for alleged deliberate failure to render a legal opinion in order to facilitate the release of the 2016 Christmas Assistance Package for Regional Office 12. But the truth is, the request for that legal opinion was already withdrawn by the requesting president. My letter request was approved by the then acting president and the EXICOM at the central office during their regular EXICOM meeting, and funds were transferred to PhilHealth Regional Office 12. There was no COA disallowance of this particular package. On January 3, 2019, I received the board's decision modifying the recommendation of the ad hoc committee headed by Mr. Mas and absolving me of the offense of grave misconduct because I sought prior approval from the management but found me guilty of conduct prejudicial to the best interest of service and meted me the maximum penalty of 1 year suspension despite the fact that it was my first offense. January 18, I seasonably filed a motion for reconsideration. Your Honor, on the first part of 2019, I wrote the Accreditation Department requesting for a copy of resolutions of the Accreditation Committee on the removal of gap of accreditation and the reversal of the region's recommendation for non-renewal of accreditation of one hospital involved in the MANGUITA case. January 29, I received a reply that they cannot provide the resolutions because the names of the HCIs being deliberated by the committee are all anonymized. And on February 11, only 13 days after I received the reply to my request, the Board of Directors in its regular board meeting outrightly denied my motion for reconsideration. The board was not out to afford me due process and fairness, but simply out to convict me no matter what. It revived the grave misconduct and meted me the penalty of dismissal. And on March 5, I seasonably filed an appeal with the CSC citing the violation of my right to due process and that the penalty imposed was too grave for the alleged offense. Your Honor, if I may add, because of my consistent crusade against fraud and advocacy for reform and good governance, there is an alleged attempt to remove me from Region 12, if not from PhilHealth. On February 2018, I recommended for non-renewal of one of the hospitals involved in the MANGUITA case on the ground of failure to pass the integrity test under Section 59F of the IIRRR of RA 1066. On March 26 to February 24, or to March 26 to June 24, I was preventively suspended for 90 days. July 5, 11 days after my suspension, the acting president, Ferrer, issued an order reassigning me to Pro Caraga. I filed an appeal to the civil service only July 6, which stayed the reassignment. January 23, Ferrer issued another order, this time giving me a special assignment, but effectively removing me as RVP by designating Mr. Donatos as the OIC. The order was issued within the period of the election ban on personnel transfer and movement, and there was no evidence at that time that they have secured exemption from the COMELEC. I filed a complaint with the Ombudsman, which is now the subject of their preventive suspension. Another complaint with the COMELEC is still pending at this moment. And lastly, Your Honor, if I may borrow Honorable Kabatbat's words, if you are doing well in your job, you have no place in PhilHealth. Dapat kang tanggalin. We have seen that there were cases involving millions, if not billions of pesos that remained unresolved. But my act of writing a letter to plead in behalf of my people took only months to be resolved that resulted to my dismissal. Thank you, Your Honor.
Director Pamonag, para lang malinaw, yung pong isang healthcare institution, pinapatanggal nyo na kung saan nagpa-practice o ginagawa ni Dr. Menggita yung kanyang gawain na nagkakaroon ng mga peking pasyente. Tama po ba?
Yes, Your Honor. That was we recommended for its non-renewal because the hospital failed the integrity test.
Ano pong hospital?
And that's the same hospital mentioned in the Senate hearing in 2019. That's the St. Louis Hospital.
St. Louis Hospital. Dininay po kayo ng board not the board, dininay po kayo ng invitation basis po.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I missed that part. Can you repeat, please?
Ang sabi niyo po, sinasabi niyo wag i-accredit, pero hindi po pinagbigyan dahil daw po ano daw ho ang batayan nila.
Okay. So we recommended for its non-renewal. We submitted it to central office, and central office overturned our recommendation, and they removed the gap of the accreditation of the hospital. So the hospital continued to be accredited. And that was not only the first time that it happened. I think before me, during the previous RVP, the same thing happened. There was recommendation for non-renewal, yet when the hospital would file for memorandum for motion for reconsideration, central office would overturn our recommendation.
So ma'am, wala pong ginawang basis sila basta hindi nila pinapansin yung inyong petition for non-renewal of accreditation. Tinutuloy pa lang din nila yung kanilang accreditation.
Yes, the hospital, Your Honor?
Yes. The accreditation office, basta ho sila, tinutuloy lang nila yung accreditation, hindi nila pinapansin yung kanyang apila.
That may be so. That is why in January 2019, Your Honor, I wrote central office to furnish me with the resolutions for us to be guided on what to do for next for subsequent deliberations, so that we may not be committing if we fail on or we miss something about our own validation. If we have the resolution from the central office, that would serve as our guide in order for us to do the best thing for the subsequent deliberations.
And Director Mabulag, hindi ito ang kauna-unahang pagkakataon na nangyari yung ganito. Sinasabi mo maraming beses na nangyari sa iyan.
Yes, in the past, but in my case, it only happened once.
Okay. Honorable Kabatbat?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Susugan ko lang yung line of questioning ni Chairman Mike Defensor, no? I appreciate the effort of Director Pamonag and her statement that she wants a corrupt-free PhilHealth. No, Mr. Director Pamonag. Matanong ko lang, totoo ba na you even undertook a massive information campaign against the wellness program of Dr. Mark Dennis Manguita? Is that true?
The first thing that I did when I heard that there was a wellness program involving doctors, HCIs, the first thing that I did was to issue an advisory to the public so that they may be aware of the wellness program that is going on. And if you check, we have a regular radio program every Sunday. Wellness program would always be part of our announcement to the public.
I see. So, Director, aminado kayo na itong ino-offer ni Dr. Mark Dennis Manguita na wellness program ay illegal. Tama po ba?
Yes. It could be because if you do not gather people to go to you, because people who are really sick would go to the doctor. It's not gonna be the doctor who would seek for patients or for people and pretend that they are sick.
I see. Thank you, Director Pamonag. Kasi I really appreciate what you've done, yung pagtanggal ng accreditation ng mga ospital.
May headset ka dyan? Baka magreklamo mamaya ba? Wala akong headset.
Yung pagtayo sa decision mo na tanggalin yung accreditation nitong mga ospital na involved sa ginagawa ni Dr. Manguita. I appreciate that, Mr. Chair. Kaya lang, nung sinabi mo na illegal ang wellness program ni Dr. Mark Dennis Manguita, and you even did a campaign to warn the public about the wellness program of Dr. Mark Dennis Manguita. Kaya lang, nung may nag-file ng complaint laban kay Dr. Mark Dennis Manguita about this wellness program, bakit po nyo dinismiss?
Okay. Your Honor, not all complaints were dismissed. There were complaints that we conducted investigation,
yung
and we are so...
Yung dated October 24, 2017, nakalagay din sa complaint yung wellness program ni Dr. Manguita, pero nakakapagtaka na i-dismiss niyo yung kaso. Eh sabi nyo kanina, illegal yung wellness program, pero nung may nagre-reklamo, i-dismiss nyo naman itong wellness, yung complaint against that wellness program of Dr. Menguita. Can you
Yes.
reconcile that?
Yes, Your Honor, I have here with me my file. This is my file while I was still connected with PhilHealth, no? Because as of now, in my status, I cannot get more files from the office, no? We have a complaint here. I think this is a complaint about the wellness program. And the office conducted investigation. I think this concerns an eye surgery on a certain Cecilia Tadora. And dito po sa briefer kasi ng case on this particular case, the people who are alleged to be recruiters submitted an affidavit that they were not recruiters for the wellness program of Dr. Menguita. And there is also an affidavit here of Dr. Menguita's wife and father-in-law saying that they are not recruiters for the wellness program of Dr. Menguita. So the observation observed unusual pattern, though I know the confinement, no, there is no offense. The recommendation of my legal unit then was there was no offense committed by Dr. Menguita when he referred Ms. Tadora to undergo eye surgery, since the patient, considering that upon check-up the patient complained of blurry vision and showed signs of what I am saying, this is a very, Your Honor, this is a very long briefer, and I can only say to you and I can assure you that investigation was conducted on this particular complaint, Your Honor.
Director Pamonag, tanong lang po, may mga kaso ho naman kayo talaga na i-file against, or at least may findings kayo against Dr. Menguita and some healthcare institutions. May ganun po bang nangyari sa inyo?
Yes, there were 3 healthcare institutions that were investigated, and the result of the investigation was forwarded to the central office.
Against Dr. Menguita, meron din po?
Against Dr. Menguita, we had only come far as with regards to his complaint for the PRC. So we coordinated with the PRC, we wrote the PRC, and the PRC replied to us that his case was still on appeal with the Court of Appeal. So that is why that we cannot remove his accreditation based on this PRC complaint, because we received already a reply from the PRC. So there is no reason for us to use this PRC complaint in order for him not to file his claims with PhilHealth.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Once again, I appreciate you standing up for the truth, especially in revoking the accreditation of these hospitals. And kaya lang, meron talaga akong hindi lang ma-reconcile na sabi nyo, illegal lang wellness program, pero nag-dismiss naman kayo ng kaso against Menguita about wellness program. Last question to Director Pamonag na lang, no, Mr. Chair. Hindi po ba ang regional ay recommendatory lang sa case? Bakit po lumalabas dito na sa level pa lang ng region, sa level nyo, na-dismiss na yung kaso against Dr. Menguita?
Yes, on the second case, the case was dismissed dito po sa regional level because the legal unit did not find prima facie evidence. But then we forwarded the findings to the central office. And to be candid about this, we were even issued show cause order by the central office why we dismissed the case. And then it went thorough. We answered, we replied to the show cause order, and eventually central office has seen that there was indeed no prima facie evidence, and the show cause order to us was dismissed as well by the central office, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Although I disagree na walang prima facie evidence, maraming mga whistleblowers eh. So, but anyway, in the meantime, I would accept that answer that raises more questions. But once again, I admire that you stood up for revoking the accreditation of these hospitals.
Sa naging official hearing nga na ito kanina, maraming ang netizens ang nanggigil at talaga namang hindi makapaniwala sa naging revelation ni Dr. Pamona na dating director ng nasabing ahensya. Talaga namang nakakapanglumo ang lahat ng korupsyon na nangyari sa ahensya ng PhilHealth at kumpirmadong guilty na maituturing si Dr. Menguita na kumilimbat ng bilyong pisong pondo ng PhilHealth. Tunay na nakakapanglata at nakakapanglumo at nakakagigil ang lahat ng naging korupsyon sa loob ng PhilHealth. Ngunit nagpasalamat sila kay Dr. Pamonag na siyang nagsiwalat ng kung paano iwinaldas at talaga namang kinulimbat ni Dr. Menguita ang pondo ng ahensya ng PhilHealth. Ano ang iyong magiging reaksyon sa naging balitang ito? Just comment.